Hi, my name is Matt Lacey, and as the slide says, my Twitter handle is Lacey Senior. This is a quick Whirlwind tour of Summer 13 for developers to highlight some of the features that you may have missed. First up is the new developer console, which is much faster in this release. It's a lot better than it used to be, so I really suggest you take a quick look at it. Sockle's got a few changes. We can now use greater than equals, less than equals with primary key fields including IDs. Queries can now be up to 20,000 characters long. And if you want to update last viewed or last reference, particularly when selecting records, you can now specify for view or for reference as part of your Sockle query. And here's an example of the syntax. Chatter and Apex is now generally available. We don't need to use the REST API to access Chatter entities anymore, or even just use standard S objects. If you do look at the documentation though, it does say Community ID, whereas the field on the S objects is Network ID. In Schedule Apex, we now have more control. There's a new method called Schedule Batch. This lets you specify a batch to run and the number of minutes from now at which to run it. Do a bit of maths, you can run it at any particular time you like. While talking about asynchronous Apex, there's also changes to the limits. Batch Apex, feature methods and Scheduled Apex now share one limit. The limit is 250,000 method executions, or the number of user licenses times by 200. When we're talking about user licenses, these are Force.com app subscriptions or full Salesforce licenses. Your Chatter-free users do not count. When we come to test classes, there's no more inlining. From APA 28 onwards, you need to put all your test methods into their own test classes. The benefit of this is that test classes do not count towards your code limit. And we have a new test visible annotation. This allows you to expose private member variables and methods to your test methods that they might not be able to see otherwise. There's a short link here to a blog post by Josh Kaplan, which is a really good explanation of why we have to write tests and how they run them with each Salesforce release. There was much rejoicing. We've got Boolean formula fields. This is good. We can write simpler code, and it's code that's less likely to break if administrators change any rules. While we're on it, the formula editor is now monospace, which makes it much easier for developers to use. When it comes to change sets and deployments, the Metadata API has now been updated. It exposes approval processes, we don't have to do them by hand. Auto-response escalation rules are also supported. New user references are managed. I believe this is the piece of technology we've been waiting for to allow these extra features, as it allows mapping between sandbox users and the production users based on their username. When it comes to HTML5 support, there's now better cache control. We can use a manifest to specify which contents of the page should be cached in the user's local browser cache. And a bunch of random bonus features. There's generally better HTML5 support. You can control more things. You can turn HTML tags on and off and body tags on and off. You can use .type as HTML5 really easily to get that in there. You can configure timeouts when using JavaScript remoting. Previously it was always set to 30 seconds, now you get much more control over that. You can set up to 2 minutes. Remoting can now use OAuth 2, Force.com Canvas is GA, and there's a new setup UI. You turn this on using customized user interface, enable improved setup user interface, and now quick search is your friend because you probably won't be able to find anything like me. With that we're done, so as you can see it's time for beer and I'm off.